You're tuned into Wolf Tickets.
Yeah. Mic check. 1, 2. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Wolftix Radio. What it is. Y'all know what time it is. We just bum rush the show. That's what we do.
Yo. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Y'all hear me? What up? What up, love? JM. Yeah, we in this. Alina, what's up? Patricia Blair. What are you talking about on this? That's what she said. What up, Plastic? What up? What up? Yeah. All right, man. All right, let me bring this through. Hold on. All right, we in here. Yeah, y'all hit the like button, y'all. What's up? I'm just in here briefly. I want to go in on this this topic of discussion. It's very interesting. I'm gonna just get right to it. Might have a special guest. We shall see. Mike sounds nice. That's what's up. All right, check it out. Wolftix Radio. This is Wolfgang Amadeus, and I'm in here like swimwear. How's it connected? Let's talk. Let me cook first. Let me get the ingredients. Let me go ahead and pull up what it is I need to pull up. Somebody asked, how is it connected? Well, first off, Mencho, Nipsey Hussle, and Big U. I'm just asking the question if what recently just went on with the D-Rug cartel boss, Mencho, is connected to anything what's going on with this Big U situation. Let's talk about it real brief. Look, we come in like with just receipts. So according to the Guardian, I woke up today and I saw Mexican security forces reportedly unalive D-Rug cartel boss Mencho. All right, one of the world's most wanted D-Rug traffic cures. The Mexican cartel boss known as Mencho has been unalived by security forces. Mexico's defense ministry has confirmed. So the drug lord, I keep saying, why did I say? Okay, his real name is Mencho Cervantes. He was unalived today in the western state of Jalisco, along with at least 6 alleged accomplices. The ministry said in a statement. The gangster he was 59 years old, the leader of a group that in recent years become Mexico's most powerful and notorious criminal organization, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, the JNGC. Yeah, not El Chapo. This guy name is Mencho. Yeah, he's not as famous as the Sinaloa cartel. El Chapo. The Jalisco group is a household name in Mexico where it's infamous for the display of ultra violence in its big military style arsenal. U.S. offered there it is, 10 million right here. They offered that reward some years back for the capture of the D-Rug boss, who was accused of smuggling huge quantities of cocaine, fentanyl, and methamphetamines across its southern border. Mencho's cartel, which was founded about 16 years ago, became Mexico's most influential crime group, was also accused of attempting to assassinate Mexican government officials. Senior U.S. officials celebrated his slaying, which follows months of pressure from Donald Trump over the influx of drugs and migrants across the almost 2,000-mile border between the U.S. and Mexico. U.S. president he's even threatened military action against the cartels that he has claimed are running Mexico. El Mencho's is one of the bloodiest and most ruthless drug kingpins, he said. It's a great development for Mexico, the U.S., and Latin America worldwide. The circumstances of El Mencho's unaliving, which analysts call the biggest blow to Mexico's cartel in more than a decade, remained unclear. The Defense Ministry said Special Forces troops from the Army and the National Guard had launched an operation in Tapalpa. I guess that's a town. It's in the southwest portion of the Jalisco state. It's near Guadalajara. And that's where they went to capture the fugitive drug lord with the support of the Air Force and military intelligence. While doing so, however, the military personnel came under attack and fought back. So 4 cartel members were unalived at the scene, while another 3 were unalived while being flown to Mexico City. Among them, El Mencho. 3 troops were injured during the operation and were all transported to the capital for treatment. The 2 cartel members were arrested with weapons that included rocket launchers capable of bringing down aircraft and destroying armored vehicles. Wow. Defense Ministry said the U.S. authorities had provided complementary information that had contributed to the operation's success. And the sign of El Mencho's huge influence across Mexico, as well as other parts of Latin America, his unaliving sparked an immediate outrage of disorder across the region he ruled. So media reports said Sunday that by lunchtime, the narco roadblocks were made from burning cars, buses, and trucks. And it could be seen at least across 8 Mexican states. That's Jalisco, Colima, Guerrero, Zacatecas. I can't pronounce them other states, bro. I ain't going front. Mexico, they have footage showing clouds of smoke. And you can see it in Puerto Vallarta. Puerto Vallarta is very beautiful. I've been there and I was just like, yeah. So it's a lot of chaos going right now. And they're saying Guadalajara was, it's actually going to be one of the World Cup's hosted cities, because you had a lot of the tourists over there running for cover. And there's torch vehicles. There's all kind of crazy stuff. So it's going up. It's going up in Mexico right now. Violent events. That's what they're calling it. They said violent events have spread to at least 5 parts of the country. All right. There's a lot in this article, but I'm basically just giving you guys the rundown, and it's actually going up right now. Now, someone asked, how is this all connected? Someone asked me, how is all this connected? Jaguar Wright is in the building. Y'all say what's up, special guest. And we both, because I was just reviewing some information and I shot it over to her, and we can both speak on how this is possibly connected. Jag, what's up?
What's going on, everybody? How are you? Welcome back to Wolf Tickets, the podcast, Wolftix Radio, here live on Set in the West. Please, everyone, make sure you're double tapping the screen or you're just hitting that thumbs up. Let's get those likes up. Welcome. We have a new member somebody who's been a member. God's baby girl. Well, we love you and thank you for being here. Okay, now that I did all of that, how is all of this connected?
Yeah, they asked how is it connected.
What I find interesting is that people aren't looking at obvious lineups. I've been saying for years that the music industry is, especially the touring aspect of it, and film productions, is the best way to move stuff around in plain sight without people looking for someone who's moving stuff around in plain sight. Like tour buses, those bays, they carry all kinds of stuff. You have certain tour buses that even have special compartments. There's stuff that you can take. You can put them in under the bunks. Like I know a lot of people that move a lot of weight around on tour buses. You know, human weight and metric weight.
Yeah. Women, yep, like you said, women's. They can be moved around via these tour buses. But not only that, you got the D-rugs that could be moved around, and the weapons that can be moved around on these tour buses. There's been rumors of the cartel power in Mexico have had their hand in the organized crime intersection with a lot of hip hop culture, especially here
absolutely
on the West Coast.
Let's not forget one of the biggest, labels here in the United States. Their CEO has ties to the cartels and worked with the cartels. Matter of fact, had a child with the head of the Puerto Rican cartel.
Yeah, and helped bring down the Colombian cartel.
Yeah.
So you guys
also bragged of links. I won't say ties, but links. An association with Griselda Blanco.
Ooh. Yeah, y'all. That's one connection, and that's just something that we're just coming out, just kind of, I haven't like researched. Well, I did, but not really. I'm just kind of going off of.
You haven't taken the deep dive, but
yeah, when I saw that this assassination happened, or whatever, unaliving, whatever you want to call it, of El Mencho, I thought about that situation. I thought about Rock Nation. I thought about the cartel being connected to street politics, because there's unverified claims tying cartel activity, street politics, high-profile names in the music industry, including a story that I'm going to get into about Chicago, Nipsey Hussle, some alleged D-Rugs conflicts, and Big U, right?
Yeah.
So that's how we're connecting it, y'all. This is how it's connected, and this is not really a conspiracy theory. Let me see if I could even run that audio. I kind of don't. Okay, let me see if I could run that audio. It's very and I normally don't. I don't listen to Al Prophet. That's his name. I normally don't. But it popped up on my feed today, and I said, because I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I grew up in that area. I know people. I ain't gotta go listen to no Al Prophet to find out what I need to find out. But it's very interesting because the online narratives, the social media narrative, they start like this. They start with people like an Al Prophet. That's kind of what I would say. We all know that Big U
and salute classics in the building.
Yep. What's up, man? Yeah, you saw it this morning. Yeah. Well, we know that Big U is in prison. He's in custody right now. He done made he said a whole bunch of stuff. We was on Classics channel yesterday, and we were talking about the fact of him, in his last video before he turned himself in, who he mentioned and who actually was, around him. He mentions he mentions Loose Cannon. He mentions Whack 100. Who everybody in hip hop have already both of those names have been, loosely affiliated with law enforcement. I'm not saying that they are law enforcement, but either somebody done talked to the police or snitched or this. But Big U, he just recently, I think the feds refined their case against him. They're not saying that he had something to do with Nip's unaliving, but they are taking the threat that he had said to Nip very serious now. And Al Prophet goes into the history of what was going on with Big U and Nip. And, you know, if you guys don't know, Big U managed Nip. Unique management, unique music. That's Big U had his hand in helping Corrupt get to where he was. Corrupt grew up. He was right over there on 59th, 10th Ave, and you know, I everybody know Ricardo. Everybody know. And shout out to, I think Lurch has passed on. Rest in peace, Big Lurch. If you from the hood and you know who I'm talking about, Big Lurch. It'd be some people in here. They know that when I say these names, like when I mentioned Third World, I was surprised that somebody knew that. But Big Lurch, rest in peace, stayed over there off 59th, 10th Ave, and yeah, had their hand in dealing with draws and or helping draws get into the music industry, and the draws is Big U basically. Now, Big U supposedly they're looking deeper into his situation, his involvement with the potentiality of his involvement with the unalived Nipsey Hussle, but it's deep. And that's what I was saying about Al Prophet. He was mentioning the fact that, you know, Nip was trying to get away from Big U. The feds got Big U on wiretap talking about he's bigger than the hood. I'm talking about him. Big U is bigger than the hood. Don't nothing come past him or something like that or whatever. Got him on wiretap threatening the life of Nipsey Hussle. So things have kind of just went in a different direction. I think he's looking at 600 years. They like to do that. They be playing in y'all faces or the public's faces or these gang members' faces because Shitty Cuz
600 years?
And Shitty Cuz got what, 60 years? Isn't that what it is? He ended up getting 60 years. Well, they could have did 40. They could have gave him 70. They said no, nigga, 60 because he's from 60. Ain't that a bitch? Yeah. But here's the connection, y'all. Here's the connection. Hold on. Let me see if I can run this.
They just be saying stuff just to get people all worked up.
See if I can run this. Can y'all hear this?
The Mexicans in Chicago tried to kill Nip. Yeah. At the concert, Sean, it was fucking 100 Mexicans with colorful Crenshaw shirts on the south side of Chicago. We went backstage, Nip like, man, hey, keep y'all head up, because, you know, some shit went on back home. He did, and that's how I can say it.
So I don't know if y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. Did you hear it, Jack?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maybe you should play it one more time.
Okay, I'll run it back, and I'm running it because, you know, with the music, because I don't want to, you know, risk a strike either. You know what I'm saying?
Understand.
So, yeah.
Fair use, by the way.
Fair use.
The Mexicans in Chicago tried to kill Nip. Yeah. At the concert, Sean, it was fucking 100 Mexicans with colorful Crenshaw shirts on the south side of Chicago. We went backstage, Nip like, man, hey, keep y'all head up, because, you know, some shit went on back home. He did, and that's how I can say it.
Yeah. The brother was mentioning the fact this was some time ago where Nip was in Chicago. Now, you guys don't understand Chicago. There's a lot of Mexicans that made it to Chicago. Of course, LA is a major hub where Mexicans are.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to all our, you know, Mexican homies.
And Texas.
And of course, Texas, you know, but Chicago just happened to be one of them points where Mexicans are deep.
Yeah.
There's only, you know, the Latin community, they get around the United States, but there's only certain places. Like, I only knew one Puerto Rican dude. Shout out to DJ Hightown. That's my dude. When I was out here in LA, he's been out here. He's from New York, but he came out here to LA.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's related to DJ Enough. Yeah, I think DJ Enough is his cousin. So shout out to my boy DJ High Time. The only Puerto Rican dude, cool as hell. And when I started hanging with him, I realized, not all the Latinos get along. Because I thought, you grow up, you kind of, Mexicans, you kind of know. Like I grew up with Mexicans, Tongans. Tongans are not Hispanics; they're Pacific Islanders. They're different from Samoans. Samoans and Tongans don't get along. Mexicans and Puerto Ricans don't get along. Not at all.
Tell you, I dated a guy whose dad was Mexican and his mom was a dark-skinned Puerto Rican.
Oh man, I know they were fighting like a motherfucker.
Listen to me. We got into an argument one day, and I said, honestly, I don't even know how you exist.
Right.
I said, but I see the conflict in yourself, and I understand it secondhand.
Right. Yeah, Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, they don't tend to get along. But Mexicans dominate pretty much LA. And then in Chicago, they're a force to be reckoned with, even though, the black population there is, they do their thing. But when you start getting into the gang politics, when you start talking about the D-rugs and stuff like that, there's politics involved. Now,
absolutely.
The situation that the brother was just mentioning was from an incident to where Nip's tour bus kept getting pulled over.
Kept getting flagged.
For whatever reason. They kept going on his tour bus trying to find something. What do you think they were trying to find?
The product.
Yeah, all that. Nip mentioned
product. They was looking for what you call it, whatever you want to call it. You call it work, you call it product, you call it DUR. They was looking for a firearm. They was looking for ammo. They was looking for everything.
Yeah, they were. And they didn't find anything. Nip knew better because beforehand, Nip caught a charge for being in the studio with a shotgun. He's a felon with a firearm situation, so he couldn't been around no firearms.
Yeah,
he was in a studio. He said they took all the equipment and they took him to jail, and he went to jail for that. So guess what? Nip's not a dummy. He made sure don't have any of this felonious stuff around me. You know what I'm saying? And when it came down to being on tour bus is clean. Ain't nobody we ain't doing nothing crazy. This is just how we do. Allegedly, Big U has always been the one transporting all types of, and he's known he was locked up before for robbing the D-rug spots. Because the thing is there's supposed to be an honor amongst it, but in all honesty, there ain't. Big U knew who was getting what from where and blah blah blah. So if you the D-rug man and you get caught up and someone robs you, who do you call? The DEA? No. You can't call just because they're called the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, don't mean they're gonna enforce your drugs. You can't call authorities. Hey man, they took some pounds from me. Supposedly, the reason why the Mexicans came and surrounded Nip in Chicago is because Nip was connected to Big U, who supposedly robbed the Mexican cartel for over 300 kilos of heroin.
I'll tell you one thing. Somebody clever like you, I could see him putting that word out that there was stuff on Nipsey's bus just so people would be looking at it so that he could get it out another way. Send all of the attention over there so nobody's paying attention to what's driving out this way.
Right.
Couple panel vans, a U-Haul truck. Like, I know people who were excellent smugglers. And for Nip to be who he was, and for him to be like, no. Yeah, I could see somebody like you just putting that word out there that he was moving stuff around on Nip's bus.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that all of the heat went there.
Mm-hmm.
And then skirt. And yeah. That right there tracks. Not only that, I can understand why the tension between Big U and Nipsey could be so easily mistaken, because a lot of people after Nipsey passed away were blaming Big U for his passing.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying it. But if people really didn't understand or know the full inner workings of what their discord actually was all about, it would be easy to do that. Last night our conversation, shout out to Classic Live. I was just listening, and it got me thinking, with all of the shakeup that we have going on in the industry, there's a lot of eyes that are watching that weren't watching before. There's a lot of people that have to move a lot differently. There's been problems in cartel land ever since there's been problems in hip hop.
Oh yeah.
Does anybody not notice that the cartels, as far as how they're operating and moving, they seem to be a little destabilized ever since hip hop has been under a microscope?
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. That's all.
No, great observation. What you guys got to understand when it comes to entertainment, the cartels, the mafias, they still do what they do within entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they need to, launder a little bit of money, whether they need to transport a little bit of this, whether they need to get girls over here, if they need to go get some weapons over here. It's a lot more nefarious than people think. It's not as clean as just, okay, yeah, No, these people do a lot. They launder their little money.
A lot of people aren't paying attention to the fact that Robert Kelly was a big mule for the underclass, for the underworld, for transporting girls and transporting, pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
When I was talking to one of the victims' dads for Robert Kelly, he was telling me about when his daughter was at Clive Davis's house. And Clive didn't want anybody that was on the bus coming into his house. He had people bringing food out and stuff like that. And there was a porta potty on the property, because they were on a tour bus. You're really not supposed to be crapping on the tour bus. So he had a porta potty that was on the property that they could use, but he wanted nobody in his house.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what was on that bus. Isn't that wild?
It's crazy.
R. Kelly at Clive Davis's house with a fleet of tour buses parked on his property, and they're all out there partying on the bus with a bunch of girls that were being moved around from state to state along with pharmaceuticals at Clive Davis's house, but nobody was allowed inside the house.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, you really wouldn't know a lot of this stuff, and unless you actually you're in the game and you see it. And some people just kind of see things with a certain type of lens.
There's a couple of rap crews that I worked with when I was younger that I know was moving stuff around, that was transporting stuff around, people and substances. That's why people ought to be nicer to me, because there's a lot of people that I haven't even burned for real.
Yeah. Let me do a quick breakdown, because what you're saying makes me take this conversation to another direction. So let's just say, when cartel figures are unalived or captured, there's usually what? A power vacuum. There's also internal fighting, infighting. There's a splinter fraction. That's why I was mentioning with the Jalisco group. Thank you, Alina, for contributing to the channel. I appreciate that. Really do. But what happens is this power vacuum, internal fighting, the splinter of different groups, because if they're talking about a large cartel that ran Jalisco, now that this guy is gone, okay, who's going to take over? And then usually there's a temporary supply disruption. So the traffic routes, they get destabilized. Other groups try to seize certain territory. The prices will go up. These coyotes, when they got to get people over, it's a different situation. And then someone else will rise to the occasion on that side of the game. Now, that's the business model of the D-Rug traffic, right? But when it comes to music, there's no verified pipeline where, cartels, the effect of a cartel member, dying or going away, where it would just, collapse the mainstream music industry. That's not what we're saying. Mm-hmm. But money laundering and cartels have always been, and the mafia, because when I'm talking about mafia, I'm talking about not just cartels, Mexican mafia, Jewish mafia, Italian mafia, black mafia. Mm-hmm. Italian, those are the main ones. There's always been money laundering and entertainment. Just know that. Nightclubs. Go ahead.
Number one, entertainment, especially the music business, has always been one of the greatest ways to launder large amounts of illegal cash in the United States, going all the way back to the 30s.
Yeah. Yeah.
During Prohibition. Prohibition, yeah.
That's what I was about to say. When we had our thing in Harlem, and then we had our thing out here in LA at on Central Avenue, the speakeasies and the nightclub, event
after hours.
Yeah, exactly. But these organizations have always, crime orgs, let's just say crime organizations, right? Cartels, mafias. Mm-hmm. They've always had their hands in nightclubs, event promotions, record labels, mm-hmm. artist sponsorship, and touring companies. They don't. These are laundering fronts for the most part. So don't you think it would make sense for a person like a Desiree Perez to get in where she fit in the music game when it came to all that? Because she from that world.
She was the perfect person, and because she was a woman, she was lightweight, underestimated.
Yeah. So, and all this isn't like industry wide. It's a lot of times it's localized. So if something happens to somebody with this cartel situation or whatever, they may move to different cities. They may move they'll shift to like other genres. Because I'm very aware of how they do in Mexico. Shout out to some people I know that are connected. I know how they get down. But United States is different, and that's a whole nother thing. But they still have their hands in it. Like when you talk about the Mexican scene, they have like a type of music. What is it called? Narco corridos. It's almost like drill music, but Mexican music.
It's mariachi. Sagas. And they talk about all of the their crimes and who did what and what narco did this and what narco did that, and they make the songs about it. And corridos,
narco corridos or whatever. So all this stuff gets tied in though when we talk about hip hop on our side.
Drill music over here, corridos over there. Everybody wants to snitch.
When we overlay hip hop to that too. Of course, we got the drill music and stuff over here, hip hop or whatever. Who benefits from the traffic? It'll be the promoters, it'll be security firms, it'll be nightclubs, it'll be quote unquote investors. They may tie themselves indirectly or directly to these networks. So artists, they got to worry about security if something like this has gone on, where this guy all of a sudden he's out the picture, El Mencho. So there might be a situation where a certain artist he just got to, I just got to be on the lookout. Just like I said with Nip. Nip went to Chicago and he's like, hey man, something happened over here in LA. Mexicans, we got to be careful over here. He had this security. So we talk about weapons and we talk about the human traffic side too. Appreciate everybody that has fallen through, came through. This is Wolf Tickets Radio. And yeah, how is it all connected? I think we explained it pretty well. If you didn't get it, feel free to leave a like, comment, and ask, well, what is it that, just leave your question. I'm open for all questions, and I'll answer to the best of my abilities. But yeah, this is Wolf Tickets Radio. This will primarily be on the Spotify, the wherever you get your podcasts. Spreaker is where you could get this one for sure. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and let it go like that.
Peace.